Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to say that I'm really grateful to be here at the Canada-Ukraine Business Forum, which I truly believe is a historical event, and I really hope that it will become a very productive business development platform for all of us. In terms of our property and in terms of the company itself, it is a Ukrainian-Canadian joint venture, private joint stock company, Toronto, Kyiv, which had developed, which operates and owns, as of today, the largest mixed-use real estate property in Kyiv. While the interesting visual elements of the complex are slightly portrayed in the first video that you saw, Ukraine Open for You, and a little bit more you will see in another video that is going to come. Very nice video. I just would like to focus on some of the key aspects of who we are, and as well, in order to understand where we are or where we're going forward in the Ukrainian environment, you have to understand where you came from. Therefore, I would like just to share a few concrete details in order to present to you, to future newcomers, hopefully to the market, the flavor about how through persistence and patience you can become really successful. So as of today, when I mentioned we're the largest mixed-use real estate property, we consist of Class A business premises, of the hotel Holiday Inn Kyiv, which is actually the first Holiday Inn not only in Ukraine but in Europe after the global rebranding of the Holiday Inn brand by the Intercontinental Hotel Group, which is as of today the largest hotel global operator by number of hotels. We also have first time in Ukraine -5 floor parking space. We have retail space, and we have a lot of different, let's call it, happening area. And as it was correctly pointed out, we're located right in the CBD of Kyiv, right across a historical landmark, Catholic cathedral, and the whole neighborhood, has become a very nice area. But jumping back into the history real quick, while the history of the project is probably comparable to the history of Ukraine by the length of the period, but I can say that active construction started in 2005. We've been going through a very lengthy, difficult process in terms of engineering, construction, been implementing international technologies, have tried our best to choose the best elements that were available on the market at each particular step of their construction roadmap. And then crisis of 2008 hit. And those crises really pushed us to the necessity to look for additional funding. I was very deeply engaged in this process, and eventually we got additional debt finance from other European banks. And at that point, since we had a little delay, we had to run forward to make sure that we open on time in 2012. Why? Because we're part of the special program which was aimed to facilitate projects that would open the hotels for Euro 2012 European Football Championship and would get some benefits. So we were running forward real quick. We eventually got exploitation rights and title in 2012 and opened the doors of the hotel in June of 2012. And our first guests were Canadian, and we're very grateful for that because since that point until today, we've been very lucky and honored to host various Canadian missions, which vary from Canadian observers that come for elections, and we're very thankful as a business, as Ukrainian, that you guys come and to make sure that the processes in the country are transparent. We've been lucky to host Canada-Ukraine Foundation and various other many international and Canadian missions. Then, despite the fact that 2014 was a complete statistical outlier in terms of business activity for almost every segment of the economy, besides maybe some of the IT elements. As of today, we are functioning large complex that is happy to have a large multinational head offices entrusted us, and they're located to our premises. For example, we have head office of Shell, Glencore, Mars, Wrigley, various other companies. In terms of retail space, we have a very good mix in terms of international and local brands, and all of that nicely sets up fundamentals for existing in Class A according to international standards business infrastructure, which is important for any business, including Canadian business, that considering to come into the market. It doesn't matter if you'll come back, if you'll come to for some companies who will come back to Ukrainian markets, or for newcomers, if you come in for processing, manufacturing, or agribusiness, and doesn't matter in which region of the market you'll be located with your operations or productions. Many companies still need head offices, and we can be a proactive fundamental platform for that. But in order to understand that today, in our history, we jumped through a lot of hurdles. That was done all prior to implementation of free trade agreement, prior to existence of Canada-Ukraine Trade Investment Support Project, prior to all the efforts of CCC or the Canadian government and so on. So just imagine what you can do once free trade agreement is going to be implemented, once all these other projects are going to be functioning. That means that basically there is opportunity for Canadian businesses, for Canadian investors to really benefit from some of the early steps that already been taken by other business existing in Ukraine, and some of which is represented here right now at the panel. And this is important to understand that today, by coming to Ukrainian market, you don't have to start from scratch, because, for example, again, our business, our property shows that already some principles which Canada promotes, such as transparency, reputation, environmentally friendly businesses, and so on, they're already in place. Therefore, you can really benefit and jumpstart and move forward depending on what your strategy is. Just to be specific, for example, if I understand correctly, Canada-Ukraine Free Trade Agreement contains a special chapter on environment protection that basically focuses on a lot of eco-friendly elements, and we, as of today, still the only property in Ukraine that has premises that has LEED certificate. In particular, we have a LEED Gold certificate. It was, to be honest, done on initiative of Shell. But as of today, it's a matter not only of certification, but presenting a proper platform that contains, a very solid environment where businesses can comfortably operate on the market. Another important thing to understand is that while you have to be patient, but on Ukrainian market, and through hard work, you really, can build a long-term strategy. It is all possible through, combining your efforts with local reputable partners, many of whom are here, with the international financial institutions that are present in the market and doing a great job, such as EBRD, IFC, and many other companies that support the private sector. And as well, the terrific thing that we already heard today that the Canadian government is doing and all other agencies are doing. I think really today is a good time to come in. It's not just empty words or a very nice marketing position statement. It's really true, because as Natalia correctly pointed out, once the free trade agreement will be implemented, once other things will be already set in place, you're going to lose some momentum, or at least you can come in, but you're not going to try to benefit from the interesting opportunity right now. I know it sounds like a paradox, but right now it's truly a second chance for first move advantage. But it's really a truthful situation right now in the market for any investor, and take in consideration the platform that this forum outlays and all efforts put together. You can really have a jump start. So, please use this.